Marvel Studios returned to Hall H last night and they announced some new stuff. Let's discuss. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new then welcome on in. My name is Jay. Please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell as well, that way you're notified when I post a new video. But enough of that, let's get into what Marvel Studios announced last night at San Diego Comic-Con in Hall H. A lot of it I got right in the predictions video I made, but most of it I would say probably way off. A lot of things did not get touched upon whatsoever. So I thought what I would do is I would go through my predictions that I did. If I got it right, then I'll say what we learned about it, and if I got it wrong, then I guess I'll embarrass myself and hold my head in shame. Although I would say that maybe I got it right, but just not for this event. I think a lot of things are going to be revealed at D23, which takes place next month. But we'll get to that, we'll get to that. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at what I predicted. Okay, so my first prediction was that we would touch upon, just for a little bit, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I got that correct. John Bernthal showed up, he went on stage, just to remind everyone that Spider-Man is coming out next week, and the audience got shown some footage from the film. This has not been released online, though the scene descriptions are out there, so if you want to have a look, you can. I'm not going to spoil it here, it's some of what we've already seen in the initial trailers, but yeah, well, it's hard to say without spoiling. If you want to have a look, go have a look out there, but I don't want to spoil it here for anyone that, like me, is trying to shield themselves from any news about the movie. I was watching it, so I got fed that information, but I didn't watch the last Spider-Man trailer that came out because I'm at the point now where I don't need all the TV spots and advertisements or whatever. I just want to go in knowing what I know and not be spoiled about anything. But they did touch upon Spider-Man Brand New Day. Second prediction I had was we were going to get an X-Men cast reveal. We did not get an X-Men cast reveal. We did not learn that Sadie Sink was playing Jean Grey, which I'm happy with, by the way. Keep that secret going if she is playing Jean Grey. We did not get an X-Men logo announcement. We did not even touch upon X-Men. Didn't address it whatsoever. I'm okay with that. Disappointed, yes, but I'm okay that they didn't touch upon it because perhaps the focus right now is the X-Men we've got returning from the Fox universe. Why would they want to talk about all these new X-Men? They go, hold on, you've got all these X-Men coming back. Why are you not talking about them? So maybe that's one thing, but also they maybe don't want to reveal too much past Doomsday Secret Wars. They did reveal some stuff, which I will get to in just a moment. But for some reason they didn't touch upon X-Men, so I got that one wrong. Number three, I said that the Doomsday cast were going to appear and they were going to talk about that movie. That one almost seemed inevitable, and I did get that one correct. They did confirm, as was heavily rumoured and unofficially confirmed, they have now officially confirmed that Hayley Atwell is returning as Peggy Carter. She was there in attendance. She gave some interviews afterwards, as did a lot of the cast or the rest of the Doomsday cast. I am super stoked to see her back. I know that she gets a lot of, not Hayley Atwell per se, but the character of Peggy Carter. It's, oh, more Peggy Carter, more Captain Carter. I've always enjoyed Peggy Carter. Agent Carter is one of the most underrated Marvel television shows out there. Still waiting on that third season, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm really happy to see her back. I think it makes sense that she's back, and she said the same as well. So I'm excited to see what they do with her. Doomsday, I predicted we might get, or the people that were in attendance might get an exclusive scene shown to them. They actually got a new trailer, which I said was not going to be the case because we just got a trailer. But this trailer that was shown, again, I think is actually leaked online. Not the actual, like a high quality version of it. I think someone was very sneakily recording it. So it's pretty bad quality. I've not watched it because I don't want to spoil, but I do know that it revolved heavily around Doom. Kevin Feige did say in an interview afterwards that this is very much a Doom setup film. He actually referenced Thanos as well. How people are criticizing Doomsday for not setting up Doom enough, and he said, well, Thanos wasn't necessarily set up to the same standard. He said Thanos sat in a chair for a while, and then he talked to Ronan the Accuser, and it wasn't until Infinity War that Thanos actually made his mark and came into the picture, and the audience learned who Thanos was, which I do agree with. I do agree with, and they're doing a similar thing with Doom, so we can't criticize him there. I would say that the Infinity Saga did have that sort of through-line story with the Infinity Stones. It remains to be seen how much of this multiverse saga has actually led up into Doomsday, but that can only be judged when we've seen the movie. Obviously, we had Kang, the recast, so maybe that's thrown a bit of a spanner into the works over what the overall narrative was going to be leading up to. But we'll see what happens. I do have confidence. over what Marvel's doing. Past few projects, ever since they decided to go quality over quantity, has been outstanding. Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Born Again, all great series and movies. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But the Doomsday cast again, I know I strayed a little bit away from the point there. The Doomsday cast was there. Pedro Pascal was asked, or maybe it was Robert Downey Jr., but Pedro Pascal responded, "What is the relationship between Doom and Reed?" Because we did learn through the trailer that was shown and the description that people are saying about it that Doom is from the Fantastic Four universe, which makes a lot of sense because in Fantastic Four First Steps we did have that empty Latveria chair, to which Pedro Pascal responded, "Besties," as if like, they were best friends, which was. Um, it makes a lot of sense. It goes into it links back to what they were in the comics. But then he was also asked, Pedro Pascal, that is, oh, does Doom and the Fantastic Four feel a responsibility for what Doom's doing? And he said no. After taking a long pause, he then said no. So I'm not really sure. Hopefully we get these trailers as well. I don't like it when we get all these trailers released at events, and the same thing happened a couple months ago. I think at CinemaCon. I think it was CinemaCon, and they release all these trailers and we don't get to see them, but we get all the scene descriptions and we might get a really bad quality version of them and probably a leak as well. And then a couple months later they go, "Oh, here you go." Yeah, I hope we don't get that, but we'll see what happens. My fourth prediction was Avengers Secret Wars. We get the Young Avengers confirmed. Nothing. They didn't touch upon Secret Wars at all. I'm okay with it. I did think that they were laying out the roadmap going ahead, and I thought it made a lot of sense. If you didn't want to confirm who was in Doomsday, you could talk about who was in Secret Wars because the Young Avengers hadn't been announced yet. You could say that they were the team coming in. They didn't touch upon that whatsoever, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But nothing on Avengers Secret Wars. Doomsday seems to be the priority, and rightfully so. Number five, Vision Quest. I was partially right. Kevin Feige made very clear early on that this was going to San Diego Comic Con Hall H was only going to be about movies, the theatrical releases. But he did say that Vision Quest would be the end of the WandaVision trilogy. One Dimension. We'll get to, we'll get to that. But we did get a date. I don't think this was confirmed before. So the 14th of October, Wednesday 14th of October, that is 2026. There's no release schedule given, but I think a lot of that is going to be pushed to D23. So that takes place next month from the 14th to the 16th of August. And I think that is where we're going to get a lot of the TV related news, especially Vision Quest. That's where we're going to expect to see Paul Bettany coming out and talking about what Vision Quest actually is, because we still really don't know anything about it. So we'll see what happens next month for that. Number six, I predicted that we'd get some, or I hoped that we would get some Defenders news, Daredevil, that kind of thing. No, that's all being pushed to D23. I actually didn't realize that D23 was so soon, so maybe in hindsight I should have said that or predicted that a little bit better. But yeah, any TV stuff is pushed to next month most likely, so nothing on the Defenders. Number seven, I said that Black Panther 3 was going to be announced. I was correct in that. I was not correct with Denzel Washington being associated with it. He might still be associated with it. I'm not saying that Denzel Washington is not part of this film, as is heavily rumored, as has been talked about before. Denzel Washington was seen in San Diego, so he's there. He just wasn't here for this. He could still be in the film. Instead, we got the announcement that David Johnson, who you might have seen in The Long Walk, if you saw that last year, I believe that came out. Unfortunately, I've not seen it. It's on my watch list. It managed to escape me during its release in cinemas, which I'm really frustrated by because I really want to see it. But yes, David Johnson is going to be the new T'Challa. Well, they keep saying the new T'Challa. I think that's T'Challa's Chadwick Boseman's version of the character. That is his son that we saw at the end of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Letitia Wright came out alongside with him. That's of course Shuri. I'm interested to see what they do here because they seem to have obviously aged up T'Challa's son since we last saw him. I don't know how that's happened. Maybe it's an effect of Doomsday or Secret Wars. We did get a date for this film, which is the 15th of December 2028. So that is our second post MCU or post Secret Wars film. The other one I will get to in a little bit. But yes, that'll be in late 2028. So not sure what they're doing there. I know what they're doing. They're doing a new Black Panther film, but I mean, I don't know what they're doing with Shuri because her arc was very much taking on that mantle, and now we have another Black Panther coming in. They were standing side by side on the stage, so I hope that they're working together and it's not just straight up passing the mantle on because I don't know, we just had this beautiful arc with Shuri, but Doomsday and Secret Wars are still to happen, so a lot can happen there. And hey, we might actually see David Johnson before that film. We might see him in Secret Wars, for example. So we'll see. Number eight, I said more sequels. Nope, none of that. We got Black Panther 3, but that was a separate prediction. I said I wanted Captain America 5, I wanted Fantastic Four 2, I wanted Shang-Chi 2. None of that. I think they'll be saving that until after Doomsday, or maybe even after Secret Wars, so maybe a year or two down the line. Um, we'll see what happens. I just think they're being very cautious. They don't want to be, oh, look, we've got all these new films, because then it's going to spoil who may or may not survive these Avengers films. So yeah, get these two out of the way first, it would seem. Finally, my last prediction was a Scarlet Witch mention. I say prediction, I made very clear in the prediction video I did. Although I said it might happen, I didn't want it. I'd be happy with it, but I'd rather that was left as a surprise. No Wanda, no Elizabeth Olsen, no Scarlet Witch, none of that was mentioned. So she's been kept a secret just now, and I hope that she's kept a secret until the films come out and we all go, oh my god, it's her, when she, appears as a surprise. That being said, there's no mention of those Latvian witches that are changing costume. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully we get reveals to that soon, because otherwise it's just a weird little bit of setup that they're not really paying off. But yeah, no Elizabeth Olsen. Okay, so let's move on to the things that were revealed. I just didn't predict at all. This one, I'm not frustrated by it, but I probably should have predicted this. They talked about Avengers Endgame coming back into cinemas. It's specifically called the Avengers Endgame Encore. We have a date for that, September 25th, although I think that was already out there. And they showed a new trailer for this film, which is weird that you're showing a trailer for a film that's already out. But they did edit it a little bit. Again, it's not online yet. Hopefully it comes online soon so everybody else can join in. Apparently it featured fan reactions, like audience reactions to the Portal scene, which, absolute cinema. But also the trailer focused heavily on Steve Rogers returning the stones to their rightful timelines. And also Tony with the line, "You mess with time, it tends to mess back." So really trying to, I guess, not retroactively, perhaps retroactively, try to connect this film to Doomsday and how it leads into that. I'm excited. I'll be really excited to go and see it when it comes back into cinemas. And again, hopefully that trailer releases online for the rest of the world soon. The final thing that I did not predict is that Ryan Gosling is confirmed to be playing Ghost Rider. This was actually leaked a couple of hours, a few hours before he came out on stage. In fact, they made a bit of a joke about it on stage. I believe it's Joshua Horowitz, who does those amazing interviews online, was talking, oh, yeah, if leaks are to be believed, this is to Kevin Feige. Like, is it true that, Ghost Rider? And Kevin Feige was like, oh, and then Ryan Gosling came out, and it was, oh my goodness. But it's just a bit annoying. Like, I'm glad they made light of the situation, but really, like, this Hall H was like later that night or later that day, and you're gonna leak that Ryan got like just wait, let the people have their fun. Like I saw it earlier on. I was like, oh, I hope that's not true because that's just ruined it. And I watched it. It was still very exciting. But why would you leak that just a few hours before? Like let them have their moment. Um, Leaker's gonna leak, I suppose. But still, I am really excited for that. Ryan Gosling obviously on his project Hail Mary High. Everybody's wanting to see more of him. I think they figured out that to defeat Doom, I've seen the funny thing online of Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu from the Barbie movie just having a dance off, almost similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. So that could be quite fun. But no, Ryan Gosling, Ghost Rider, real ones will know, as I tweeted last night. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did it first with Robbie Reyes. Whatever, you don't need to acknowledge that if you don't want to. I'll remember it as one of the best seasons of Marvel television that was ever released. But hey, Sean Levi was confirmed to direct the film, who of course did Deadpool and Wolverine last year. I think it's probably the right type of film. You've got to have that sense of ridiculousness if you're going to do Ghost Rider. I just hope it's not as silly as Deadpool and Wolverine, because as much as I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine, it was very much a comical sort of film. I hope that a lot of the things in that film, with the whole anchor beings and stuff, don't actually have a role in the Avengers films, because I just didn't like that whole concept. But Ghost Rider, I'm excited for it. I guess is what we're going to say. No date was given, just 2028. One would assume that because Black Panther 3 is going to be December 2028, this is probably going to be a July film. Whether or not you've got X-Men slotted in there or not, I'm not sure. I know that Marvel during their new slate, they're only having 2 to 3 films a year, so this fits, their 2 films a year. It's probably going to be the summer film of 2028, potentially the first one after Secret Wars. I always thought it was going to be X-Men, but again, no mention of that so far. There we have it. That is everything that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con for Marvel's Hall H. Again, if you've not done so already, please do go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, give the video a like, and share your thoughts down below. Were you disappointed? I think for me, I was a little bit disappointed, but then I think, okay, they're wanting to just focus on these films that are coming up. And I think I'm just comparing it to Marvel D23, Marvel Hall H is in the past because they have revealed a lot more at previous San Diego Comic Cons than they had this one. So I don't think my expectations were like far-fetched. I think they were very much in line with what's previously been done. It's just a little bit different this year because they don't want to spoil these two big, probably universe-changing films. Anyway, that is everything I have got to say on that matter. Please do go ahead, as I said, leave your comments down below, tell me what you thought, and I will see you in the next video. See you next time. Bye.